this really fun workshop that I've been let to do, and I've called it Illustrating with Soph. My name is Soph, or Sophia, and there we go, and that's me there. Hello! And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter I have a letter C after my name, and you can also see more of my work as well, but I can come back to that. That's not the priority of today. The priority of today is to get you illustrating. So I was thinking about things that I like illustrating, and a lot of my work kind of uses patterns, so like repeat patterns here. I really love drawing natural kind of things like plants and magical things. And again, yeah, patterns have been really key and something I keep coming back to. This is a scrambled egg pattern, a lemon pattern, and this is my attempt at drawing a rabbit. So I was thinking we could do something similar where we start looking at putting patterns in our illustrations, and just ways of drawing. You don't need to have any experience, and you don't really need that much equipment. As long as you've got a pen and maybe one different colour, you're good to go. I just kind of did a little bit of a search in my little drawers, and I found a couple of different pens. So I've got a couple of different colours. Sharpies are great, and I've got a black fine liner and another black pen, and I've also found a brush pen which I didn't know I had, so that I might kind of throw in there and see if we can use. So let's get started. I think one of the easiest things to start with is actually drawing vases. They're really great for being able to add pattern onto, and quite easily. So let's start by drawing a vase. You want to do this sort of triangle without a kind of tip, so it's almost like a cut off triangle, and then a circle that sort of attaches to that, and colour it all in. So my pen is a Sharpie pen, so it's really strong colour, and this is just a scrap sheet of paper I had lying around. You can use any sheet of paper that you have. I like to draw on the back of old cereal boxes, envelopes if you've got anything in the post recently. A really great way to start. So you've got your basic vase, and I actually recommend doing multiples of these and just thinking about different ways you can add plants into them and patterns onto them. I've got some writing on the back of this paper that's sort of showing through. I kind of like the way that looks. I'm just going to add in a plant. Just drawing one line, and these quite skinny leaf shapes. Maybe another one that's a bit more curved. And that's it. It's an empty vase. Now the thing I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to try taking my black fine liner pen, any dark colour. So if you've got like a yellow, you could pretty much use any colour on top because yellow is quite light. This purple, purpley pink colour is quite dark, so that's why I'm going for black. And I'm just going to do some spots on it. And I'm just going to different sizes, and notice some of them I'm actually drawing off the vase. I really like that kind of like someone's just printed it on. My circles aren't all equal, they're all a bit different. And positioning wise, I'm just sort of naturally thinking about where there's a bit of space, and I really like the overlap of when they kind of go onto the page as well. So that's one way of adding pattern and making, I think patterns are a great way of stylising your designs. I'm just going to add a table, and I'm going to use my paint pen. That's this bright orange. I really love the contrast between those two. So our first kind of writing warm-up challenge and task is to number 1, create a vase, and then add pan. So that's our first challenge. For our next challenge, I was thinking about doing something repetitive and actually just filling up the whole page with a pattern. And this is a really nice way of either creating simple prints that you can just frame, or your own wrapping paper. They make really nice gift cards as well. So I'm drawing these kind of eye shapes, like rubgy balls, and they're going to be lemons. So you want to just draw as many as you can on the page and repeating them. when you get to an edge, it's nice to have some that are half cut off, because then it feels like a repeat pattern, like you've just cut this sheet of paper. Okay. Now I've finished drawing all the lemons, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just maybe some dots to them, because lemons have a bit of texture, and a leaf. I'm not sure what colour to add. I don't know whether to go for like this lime green, or whether to go for this dark green, or whether to just completely throw it out there and go for blue. I'm going to go for blue. I think it's going to contrast nicely, and it's going to feel a little bit more abstract, which I think is appropriate for this pattern. I'm just doing some dots and this leaf. Now this blue pen is a lot thinner than the Sharpie, and I think I kind of like that effect. Some of them I'm going over the top, some of them are just sitting on the white page. Being a bit freer and looser with this just adds nicely to that abstract style. So go across all of them and fill up that entire page with little dots, and this line you could do as a thick line or an outline, that's up to you, and a leaf, and think about how you want to angle that leaf and whether it changes on each of them. And that's our lemon pattern done. I'm just going to add one final little leaf and stem, maybe two final little ones from where I've missed them, and I've just gone through and I've added all these like little dots and stuff, and you can see it's become a really nice repeat pattern. This you could use now for collage paper. I could cut this out, make it into some dungarees for a character. The potential is pretty much endless. You can also use this as a print, or it makes a really nice card. So if you just folded it in half, and because my paper's quite thin, maybe I'd stick this onto the back of something, and have a nice little lemon card that I can send to a friend. So that's challenge number 2, which is to create a lemon themed repeat pattern and fill up the entire sheet of paper. Now for challenge number 3, I've quickly sketched out a person. So this is really quick. I'd like you to sketch out a person or a figure, and make sure that you can see their jumper or their top, because that's going to be the part we're now going to focus on. One of the things I really like doing is when I draw something quite simple, it's great, you've got some kind of nice little characteristics here, but I think there's a bit of personality you can add, and pattern is a great way to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take maybe my green pen, my lime green pen, and just sort of think about repeat patterns you can create on the shirt. So I'm just going to do these sort of like square dots, and you could do, actually I would challenge you to do 2 or 3 of these, and do a different pattern on each one. It's a really nice way of bringing an illustration to life. So I've done this, and I'm thinking what could contrast with that, and I think maybe the pink would contrast, oh no, the yellow. The yellow is going to contrast nicely for me. I've got these square shapes, so maybe I'm just going to do some dots going down. And the key to patterns is, 1, to use colour, at least for me anyway. I like to really think about the colours I'm kind of bringing in. But if you've only got 1 or 2 colours, the real secret to patterns is repetition. So if you're repeating these over and over, you get a really nice texture and a really nice effect. I think I'm going to go for a circle, but I'm going to use my thicker Sharpie. Ah, fantastic. Look at that. And you get this kind of 80s vibrant jumper kind of emerging. And it's a great way to bring life to some of the drawings. This can work well in black and white as well as in colour, because sometimes drawings can look a bit flat and suddenly you bring in something, a little bit of movement, and this pattern adds great movement. I think I'm happy with that. So your challenge number 3 is to illustrate someone, a illustrate a person and add pattern to their clothing. And I would probably do this ideally 3 times, but I think you can probably do more if you're really into it. I'd love to see a whole series of pattern outfits that you've created from this to that outfit. Excellent. So that was a super quick one that you can do. And the last challenge, I guess, just to kind of finish up, I think let's draw a rabbit. So I'm going to draw a little circle, or like a half circle, almost like a smile, there. A smile, and then you want to draw ears. So this kind of big leaf-like shape, a bit of an arc, and I'm going to draw another ear. And this one's got a slight bend to it. Then I'm going to draw some eyes and a little X here. Then I'm going to jump to another colour and I'm going to draw the body in another colour. I'm just going to fill in all of that person. Excellent. And now I'm going to just do little feet and just do a little line and just a little like stretched sausage at the bottom for feet. Hands here and hands here. And just the ear, or an outline of the ear, or the inside of the ear here. Brilliant. So this is what you're going to start with. And I'd like you to bring in all of the techniques that we've done. So I want the whole background to be filled in with a pattern. So sort of like the lemon one. Let's fill up the whole background with something. Then for the second one, I'd like to fill up the clothing with pattern. But it's sort of like the vase that we did, where you've coloured it in already. So we're almost bringing in all the skills of pattern making that we did into one illustration. That's our final patterned up illustration, and you can see just how from these basic lines, so I went for a bit of stripes, some squares, and these just sort of X shapes. It can really bring quite what could have been a dull illustration to life. On the jumper / outfit, I went for a contrasting colour with these little like hemmed dots and just some little blue dots that sort of look green on the yellow, which I kind of quite like. So you can see how much movement and personality the pattern can bring. So just to recap, we started off doing a little vase, just a plain solid vase, and we do some dots onto it. Then we moved on to filling an entire page with pattern, and we did these lemons repeated over and over. And then finally we ended on illustrating a person and drawing on their outfit, just to give it a bit of life, a bit of movement and personality, and I think that's what pattern and illustrating brings. So this is our final one, and by the end of this you should have a little cute little collection of 4 wonderful pattern illustrations. It would be amazing if you could share them with us. The links and stuff will be written on how you can share them. You can always @ me on Instagram, and I'm more than happy. If you have any questions, do let me know. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me for this very special pattern workshop.